Did I not tell you that the downward spiral was coming for the Steelers? And some of you, I love you. Some of you didn't listen. Now Mike Tomlin's gone, and now you will be on a reboot. Let's talk about it. I'm going to make this as clear as possible. Let's just jump into it. Hit the subscribe button if you ever want to see any more of what this is going on. Let's just jump into it. There's all these coaching vacancies, but the biggest one is Mike Tomlin leaving the Steelers. And sometimes things don't go out as they plan. 19 seasons, never had a losing record, but they got destroyed by the Houston Texans defense Monday night. They hadn't lost a Monday night game since Chuck Noll was coach, and that changed real quick. So let's just jump right into this. I said in numerous videos, the Steelers' downward spiral is coming. The city of Pittsburgh is supposed to be coming with a downward spiral as I do this video. The Pirates have probably one of the worst owners in baseball. The Penguins are supposed to be in a massive rebuild, but they're actually playing well right now. And then, you get a couple positive clicks. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds won the USL Soccer Championship. And now we get this thing where Mike Tomlin steps down with a year left on his contract, steps down after that brutal loss to the Houston Texans in Monday night in Wild Card weekend. But now I think we just need to just put this into a thing. Is it time for a reboot? And Dan Rooney, the owner, does not want to ever hear the word reboot, rebuild. He never wants to hear it. In a way of speaking, he's not wrong, but another thing is when the Super Bowl is over and then you get that month of clarity that you don't really talk about the NFL. I mean, you kind of do here and there, but then the season basically, kind of starts the second the Super Bowl is over, and then everybody's back to zero. I mean, you still got the team that wins the Super Bowl runs around with the Lombardi Trophy for a while, and then free agency hits, and then all the rumors of the draft and everything starts filtering in, and the draft is in Pittsburgh this year. So what do you do in a situation when you're the Steelers? I mean, every team is 0-0. Every team, every year, the salary cap does go up, especially now in this economy. But in a way, what do the Steelers have to do to finally get back? Now, I've made numerous videos about what the Steelers have to do. I mean, it's almost a broken record, and I'll just keep saying it. You never got your offensive line fixed. The running game used to be good. Now it's kind of a little bit average. You have the most expensive defense, and they were bottom tier in Pro Football Focus. And you have some aging players. Cam Hayward, I know he's good, but he's not Aaron Donald. You brought in Jalen Ramsey. He wasn't even a factor. And you gave a lot of money to Alex Highsmith, and everybody wants, in Pittsburgh, wants and loves T.J. Watt. He's 0-5 in the playoffs. And then when you hear really, really ridiculous takes, but then again, in realism, you better start kind of thinking about it. Like, I'm a big fan of Colin Cowherd, and he said a while back he made a ridiculous take, though it's not really ridiculous. It's kind of like when you make ridiculous takes, it has to get you to think. He would trade T.J. Watt and a handful of draft picks to the Cleveland Browns to get the number one overall pick and get Shedeur Sanders or whatever. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen, but you do need a quarterback now that we probably hear Aaron Rodgers is not coming back since Tomlin is gone. So what you are left with is situationally issues. I mean, you now have to come to the fact that, well, your defense is overpaid as well. But T.J. Watt, as great as a Steeler as he is, you need draft capital. You have about $40 million in cap space. You need draft capital and you need cap space, and you need to basically retool that defense. It's simple enough. And another cool thing to think about is the Steelers have 12 picks coming up in the draft. And once again, the draft is in Pittsburgh this year. They are going to get the number 21 overall pick in the first round. And remember, the draft goes 3 days. It's the first day, it's first round. The second day is the second and third round, and the third day is all the mass hysteria of 4 through 7. So let me just run down the Steelers real quick. It's 1, which will be 21st overall, and then they have, then they get 1 and 2 and 3 in round 3. One of them's by Dallas because of the George Pickens move, and they have a compensational pick in the third. 2 4s, a 5, 2 6s, and 2 7s. You could get, I mean, if you don't want to rebuild, you could get somebody in the draft, in free agency or whatever, because you got 12 picks. Make a move. You need a number 2 wide receiver. You're going to get those. You're probably going to trim your tight ends down because Arthur Smith is not coming back. Terrell Austin, the defense coordinator, is not coming back. Even the guy who runs the special teams, the old guy they like, I can't remember his name, he's not coming back. It is a clean out your locker and start putting in a new system. And I know Dan Rudy doesn't want to hear rebuild. Sorry, this is the new NFL. This has been the new NFL for a decade and a half, and it evolves every single year, every handful of years. It's not the old school punching them out blue collar days, although the Steelers are still blue collar. I mean, the AFC North is pretty much like that, including Cincinnati, who's very cheap, and Cleveland, who's outlandishly makes dumb moves, and Baltimore, who just lost John Harbaugh to the Giants. We don't know where they're going to be, but they've also been blue collar as well. Let's just narrow it down again. You have about $40 million in cap space. You have 12 draft picks. It's about time you start making some moves after the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter who wins the Super Bowl. You need a number 2 wide receiver. Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson are not your answers. Adam Thielen is retiring. You're not going to have MVS. You're not going to have him. Scotty Miller is a free agent. You need a whole overhaul in Pittsburgh. I don't know if Jaylen Warren will be the guy, and I don't know if that kid from Iowa is any good. And Kane will only sign 1 year. He may very well re-sign. But I'm not sure, but I don't know, because you need picks and you need pieces. You need to retool the defense. The offensive line never got fixed. I'll keep saying that till I'm blue in the face. And most of all, you need a quarterback. Mason Rudolph and Will Howard are on your roster right now. And Mason Rudolph has not proved himself. He was a gunslinger at Oklahoma State. He's not lived up to it. He didn't live up to it behind Ben, and he's not living up to it behind anybody else, not even Mitch Trubisky, and not even Russell Wilson. So I don't know. If you absolutely have to rebuild for a year, I would let Mason. I mean, you'll probably keep him because he knows the system, but Will Howard has not had any reps. He broke his hand in preseason, never took a snap in preseason, in training camp. So. Quite honestly, think about it. If the Steelers would have won that game against Cleveland in Week 17, Week 18 game against Baltimore, as nuts as that was, would have never even been a thing, and Will Howard probably would have started. So think about it. Will Howard is your guy, but then you have a possibility of I don't know what. I think it may have been Colin Cowherd saying, you got 12 picks. Why don't you trade 6 of them and move up in the draft and go get Ty Simpson? Ty Simpson is not number 1 is not a first round pick. And literally enough, the quarterback class is not that great. It is not that great. It is Mendoza and everybody else. Dante Moore of Oregon staying. The following year look like what we're going to be talking about. So you better start thinking about who your quarterback's going to be. And if you have to get a bridge quarterback, you got to make a trade to Atlanta and get Kirk Cousins for half a year. I don't know what to tell you. You need a quarterback. You need a number 2 wide receiver. Your offensive line needs fixed. Your defense is overrated and needs retooled. This is the time to do it. Start thinking about it. And your head coach, I don't know who you want. I don't know who you feel like getting. Brian Flores looks like a good cultural changer, but it's almost going to be a mirror image to what Mike Tomlin was. You need an offensive coach. Mike McCarthy would be good. Cliff Kingsbury would be good. Clay Kubiak from San Francisco would be all right. Joe Brady from the Bills would be fine. But people want that. I mean, Steeler people want somebody that jumps off the couch and puts a headset on and fills your coaching vacancy. Well, nobody knew who Tomlin was. He's a young cat, and he became one of the best coaches, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, regardless of what many people think. So start thinking about your future. If you have to go 4-13 for a year just to get to the next level, you have to go Will Howard and start thinking about the future. This is the time for Steeler people to start thinking and being realists. Maybe we're not that good. We got lucky getting into the playoffs. It's time we start. I mean, it's the old MTV phrase. Stop being polite and start getting real. It's time for a big reality check for the Steelers.